welcome to Iron Tarot. I hope you're all doing great. Today I wanted to tell you more about myself and also show you some of the cards that I have been using, and also to talk about how I usually give readings. So first of all, my name is Iron. It's spelled A-E-R-Y-N, in which the Y is not a vowel, but it's a syllable, so you don't pronounce it. My name is actually pronounced Iron, but you can just say Iron, like Iron Man. I'm giving tarot readings now for 7 years, and in the very beginning it was at a music event, and I remember I was so nervous, but that really changed my life, because there were 2 music events, and that granted me this opportunity to give readings to people, and I only had this small table and chair. And in the beginning I thought, well, I'm gonna give readings for a couple of hours and then I'm gonna go dance. But in the end, the queue was so long that I couldn't dance at all. Like in both events, the queue was non-stop, so I was giving tarot readings non-stop, and it was the first time for me to give readings for others, so I was very nervous, but those 2 events have really changed my life, because I have experienced so much about giving reading to others. It gave me confidence, but it also taught me how draining giving reading can be, because you give a lot of energy and you have to tap into this other realm, and that can be tiring, especially when you do it for hours and hours non-stop. Yeah, and then so from there I started giving readings to many different people. Actually, people from all over the world are asking me for the readings, and I feel really blessed. But ever since COVID, I do not do one-on-one readings anymore. In Tokyo, I used to meet my clients in cafes, or for international clients I used to do Zoom sessions, but now I want to treat everybody the same, so I will record the reading, and then I will send you the outcome as a YouTube link, just like the videos that I do like right now. And so yeah, lots of things have changed the past few years. Yeah, I also do astrology, but right now I am putting a pause on the astrology readings. I'm more focused on tarot and numerology. I used to read the birth charts, but that's on hold for now. And yeah, but please stay tuned. I might add it back. And I'm also a Reiki healer. I used to give lots of Reiki sessions, but I stopped doing that as well since COVID. Yes. Before I did tarot, I was into music. Writing songs and singing is my passion. I was in a metal band, and yeah, rock was really my gig. It saved my life, actually. I was a very depressed teenager, so that really yeah, it literally saved my life. And then I learned more about jazz and blues, and then in the end I was in a acid jazz band. I was also singing house music, deep trance, but my main, like the music that I love the most is from the 80s, fusion, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Chaka Khan, George Benson, Foreplay. I love K-pop. I love BTS so much. Lately I'm into New Jeans, and any kind of music, actually. I love standard jazz. I love Ella Fitzgerald. I cannot name all of the artists that I love because then this video will just end with me listing all the amazing people out there. Yeah, so I was really into music and I love singing. And then I became a leather craftsman. I really loved the Hermes style of hand stitching, and so I wanted to learn that. And I think I learned that for 2 years, and then I made my own leather handbags and wallets, all custom made. And also I was working in big companies. I was organizing events. I was teaching at a kindergarten for 6 years because I love kids. And I used to be a spiritual coach at the Miss Universe pageant. And there I was teaching about having a more spiritual life and the importance of being authentic. My main message throughout the Miss Universe pageant was to shine your light that is unique to you, and to not compare yourself with others, but to find your authentic light and to shine from your heart center and to find your heart center. I just started with my YouTube channel, so I'm trying to change things up a bit as I go along. There is a feature that I'm thinking of adding. I might ask the tarot cards later if I should make that change or not. I often use tarot cards to ask daily questions like that. Yeah, so now let's dive into some of the cards that I use, and then I'm also gonna show you how I give my readings. So let's start with the Rider Tarot. This is my ultimate favorite, and I think this is the deck that everybody comes across when they first start their journey of learning about the tarot. I have so much respect for Pamela Coleman Smith, who is the one who drew these pictures, and I have learned so much about life and the universe, and the tarot really is such an amazing self-help tool. And of course now I'm helping lots of others from many different countries and many different backgrounds and religions, and so I'm so grateful. I cannot express in words how much I have learned from this deck. And to me, I always take into account the colors that she uses, because the colors also add meaning to me. And for example, let me show you. I have another deck, and this is the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. And so the only difference is that the colors are more radiant, just as the title says. They have added more color to the pictures. And so when you compare these two, you can see clearly how the outlines are stronger and the colors are also kind of stronger and mixed. However, because I always take into account the color of the cards, this alters the meaning a little bit. Let me show you an example. Not only did they change the colors, but also, for example, this one. So this is the Five of Wands, and to me, this is 5 kids. It's 5 boys, and they were given the wands, and maybe somebody told them to build something out of this, but they end up playing with it. It's a kind of a chaos because everybody's looking in different direction. This boy is comparing these two, and this kid is like, yeah, let's do this. Come on, let's fight. And he's like, come on, we need to carry this. So to me, this is 5 boys who are doing different things, and it's a kind of chaos, but they will eventually find a way to make something out of the 5 wands. But however, if you look at this card, this version, I have it right here. In this version, they don't really look like boys, do they? I find that here they have changed the face in a way that now they look more mature, also the body, and the whole atmosphere is a little bit different, don't you think? Because of the different colors. What else could I show you? Oh, this one. This is the 7 of Pentacles. And here again, if you see here, this person obviously looks a little bit disappointed and not very satisfied with the work that he has accomplished, or the work that he still has ahead. And you can see it from his face. However, here, he doesn't look so disappointed. I mean, he still looks a little bit tired, exhausted maybe, but here I feel more hope for what is still ahead or what has been done. So, yeah, every card deck has its own unique atmosphere, I think. I have very small hands, so I generally prefer smaller sets of cards. But sometimes, intuitively, I feel like using these cards, and they're very nice. They have a different design on the back. Here, it's more like this. I really recommend the Rider Tarot. I'm sorry, I didn't put them into order. Design-wise, I really love the Keymasters Tarot. It has this golden shimmer, and the pictures are so amazing. The size is really nice too, and I love this Art Deco style of drawing. The suit cards are like this, so you have to have a little bit of experience with the tarot before using this, I think. But this is also another set that I really recommend. It's so stylish, and yeah, I really treasure this a lot. I love fairies, so I have lots of fairy themed tarot cards. This is one of the fairy tarots that I have, and they are so soft. They're so kind and so warm and nice. For example, the White Cat Tarot that I use, these are more straightforward. Although the pictures are very soft, I find them so cute. But the message that I get from the White Cat Tarot is always very to the point and straightforward. So, yeah, depending on the card deck that I use, I feel a different kind of energy and a different kind of strength in the message that the cards are giving me. So I intuitively pick the card decks that I find are suitable for that specific client or that specific day. The Star Tarot is also very beautiful. They have a more vivid kind of color use. You can see that the colors are much stronger, but I think they're just so beautiful and very powerful, but actually the messages are very soft. You might think from the coloring and the painting style that this is kind of harsh and straightforward, but it's more soft in my opinion. So this is really good for everyday readings. Well, all the cards are good for everyday readings. But for example, this one, this is another fairy tarot. And here the color is more yellowish, a very warm kind of tone. So I prefer using these in the winter time actually, because where I live in Japan, it's super cold. And these cards, they give me warmth. And they're super beautiful. And they're pretty straightforward too. What I mean by that is when I first started the tarot, I wanted to check if it's really true that the tarot gives you answers. And so I was playing around with the cards, and then I pulled one card, and I remember I wasn't satisfied with the card that I got. So I shuffled the cards again and then pulled another card, and then I realized that the message was similar but stronger than the first card. And the more I pulled the cards, the stronger the message was, but it was basically saying the same thing. And so I was really blown away by that. And in the end, I pulled another card, and it was the same card as the very first card. So I thought, wow, this is really amazing how, you know, honest the tarot is, and I got hooked. Yeah. But ever since I was little, people always came up to me, even for example, in elementary school or junior high, even people who I didn't really know, people from older classes, for example, even they came to me and started talking about their deeper feelings or their fears and insecurities. And also in my family, I was always kind of the one who everybody talked to. So it came very natural to me to read cards for other people as well, not just for me. But in the beginning, it was for my own self-healing and for self-love. And this is Brit's Third Eye Tarot. And I love the colors. It's more for everyday use, in my opinion. So it's perfect for anyone who has, you know, kind of daily issues. I tend to use dramatic cards for big questions. And to me, so in my opinion, I use this for everyday kind of themes. Yeah, I absolutely love this. It makes me so happy to see this drawing. Here I have the Mystic Monday Tarot, and this is super colorful, and I love magenta pink, so this immediately kind of hit me when I saw it. And I love the interpretation of the cards. The King of Pentacles to me is like a banker, a finance person, so this is pretty perfect to my image of the King of Pentacles. But I mean, this stylish kind of atmosphere, I can hear music. It's kind of like 80s fusion, like Lee Ritner, or even house music maybe. These cards are very fun too. And by the way, I sometimes use tarot cards as oracle cards as well. Yeah, so you can include tarot, you can use the tarot like oracle cards too. And when I do that, I don't really think of the card as in the tarot sense. I don't interpret it in that way, but more intuitively, whatever the card or the picture gives me in that moment will be a hint or an answer to something or somebody, and it really helps a lot. Yeah, it's really like a relationship that you build with your cards over time. It's a certain way of communicating with the cards, and as I said, every card has a different kind of characteristic. For example, when I feel that my client is very in a vulnerable state and very insecure, I use the Guardian Angel Tarot deck because they are so soft. I can sometimes sense that my client is very wounded, and in those cases I use these cards. Also, when I'm feeling kind of sensitive myself, I use this because it's so tender and warm, and the pictures are so cute, and really, you know, I mean, I'm sure you know how sometimes, you know, the energy is just too harsh in our world. If there's one thing that the tarot has taught me, is that the world is full of duality and there is no escape from it. So in the beginning, when I was learning the tarot and really trying to love myself and all, I remember I was beating myself up the whole time because I thought I cannot be happy, and how come that other people seem to be happy all the time and I can't? And I thought that it's something bad about me, that I cannot be like that. But the tarot has taught me that it's not about being happy all the time, because life is not about being happy all the time. In life, there are good things and sometimes bad things happen, and sometimes happy things occur and sometimes really horrible things occur. And that's the way our world is, and this is the way our life will go on forever and ever. So there is not gonna be a day where you think, oh, everything is, you know, all my problems are solved, and you know, I have reached the happily ever after. It's a phase, it's a state of mind, but it is not a state that is like forever, right? It's not like there is a finish line, there is no goal. But when I was younger, I was chasing that goal the whole time. I thought that there is a goal that you can reach, and then from that moment on, there is no sorrow, there is no pain, and there is no sadness. But no, this is all part of life. There's always going to be, you know, something sad in our life and something that upsets us. But it's about how do you react to that? So how is your attitude towards all the ups and downs of life? I also have the Bhagavad Gita cards, oracle cards. I don't know if you have them overseas, but these are Japanese yoga cards, and I got them. So I used to model, and my favorite photographer, she's pretty famous, she gave these to me, and I love these abstract pictures because this abstract style really helps me to tap into the other realm. And so, and when I pull an oracle card for a client or about a certain topic, I can really feel so much from this design and the coloring. So this is also another set that I love very much. And here I have the crystal oracle cards. You might have seen this in my weekly videos. I used to have lots and lots of crystals, but there was a huge flood, and I have lost almost all of my possessions and collections, and my crystals too were damaged, and some of them I was able to rescue, but at least I had, this deck was okay with the crystals, so I used them. Yeah, I wish I could have my crystals, but they're gone now. It was a big letting go phase in my life. But, you know, you just have to surrender and trust the universe. And I surrendered, I trusted the universe, and then a few weeks later, I met the love of my life after the flood. The Beyond Lemuria cards. I fell in love with the design, and the size of the card is perfect for my hand. And these are funny because they have the meaning of the cards behind them. So usually I just do it like this, and then I pick a card. Yeah, I try not to look at the cards. Well, sometimes I shuffle the cards like this, and then I pull a card. It's perfect for a daily reading, and I fell in love with the design. It's so vivid, and as I said before, this kind of abstract, otherworldly kind of stuff helps me more to tap into the higher realms. And so yeah, when I pull a card like this during a reading, it really helps me a lot because they give me other information about the person or the situation. And yeah, these are very amazing and so much fun. I love colors, and I love design. I used to be a buyer, so I love really strong colors and very eccentric designs. So yeah, these were some of the cards that I have. I have more cards, but I think it will take forever to go through them all. Now I wanted to talk about how I give readings. So usually before I give a reading for myself and also for my clients, I meditate. And many clients ask me how I meditate, and the thing is, it differs every day. Sometimes I do 15 minutes, and sometimes it goes over 40 minutes or 1 hour, depending on how much time I have to do a meditation. But so the point is to find your center and to be grounded and find your inner balance. If you feel like there's lots of thoughts in your head, then that's okay. Just observe them and just accept them. If you try to deny them, or you know, just don't be too harsh on yourself, and don't be like, oh my God, I'm thinking about work again, and I will never be able to do meditations. No, it's fine. Just let your thoughts swirl in your head and observe it, and just acknowledge, oh wow, I have lots on my mind, and then just concentrate on your breathing, and then naturally you will get into the flow and into the stillness, and then you can connect with source. And once you're on this other plane, then just let the energy guide you. So first I do meditation, and then I shuffle the cards. And so the way I shuffle the cards is different depending on the day. So I do things very intuitively. I just shuffle them like this, and then I knock on the cards 3 times, and that is my way of clearing. And then I pull the card using my left hand, which is I'm right-handed, but I use the left hand to pull the cards. And sometimes I feel into the card, so I can feel, okay, this is the one, and then this is the one. But sometimes I shuffle the cards. So this is all stuff that I don't plan ahead. It just happens as I go along, and it just intuitively tells me. And then I knock 3 times, and then I always pull the second one. This is also another style that I have. Or so these cards you cannot use in reverse, but these you can. So for the cards that I can use in reverse, I sometimes mix them like this. This is actually something that came out at during my inner child session. I was meditating and I was communicating with my inner child, and that voice told me to mix the cards like this, because this is how I was mixing the cards when I was little. And so this is also another way of doing it. It doesn't look pretty, I know, but I don't care anymore about stuff like that. And then I shuffle that like this. And yeah, so jumping cards, sometimes when you shuffle the cards jump out. If it's one card that jumps out, I will take it for my reading. If it's like a bunch of cards that jump out, I will not, I will take them back and shuffle them again. Let's do a fun reading now using the Fairy Tarot. By the way, for clearing the cards, I use sage, and I knock on the cards 3 times. Sometimes I knock on the cards before I do any session. So let's say I have a tarot deck and also an oracle deck. Then before I record any session, I use sage. Not every time, but there are moments when you feel like the cards are heavy energetically, and in those times I use sage to clear them once. And I also shuffle through the cards, and then I knock 3 times, either before filming or while filming. And also you can use crystals like these. And this frequency is the angel frequency. So it's really high vibrational, and it clears the whole room and also the cards. Interestingly, this will not sound if the energy is heavy. So let's do a quick 1-card reading for anyone who's watching today and who has made a mistake. It can be at work or anywhere. And this is a message for you from the universe. Queen of Swords. Okay, so it's okay to let out your feelings. You don't have to hide your feelings and pretend like everything is okay. You can, it's important to talk about things. So if you made a mistake today, then don't become like, don't hide in your shell like a crab, but talk about it, and like her, just go with your feelings and let your feelings free flow, because it's never good to have emotions stuck in your body. They can turn out to become injuries or physical pain or difficulties with organs. So also for your health, please express your feelings, and don't forget that you are super strong. It's a minor mistake, but there's so much that you can learn from it, and maybe somebody even told you today how to do things better the next time. So take that person's advice. Yeah. This is such a beautiful card. You know, it's really important that you use tarot decks that you love. It gives me so much pleasure to see each and every card and on every deck that I have, and it's so important that you truly love your card deck, because there is no point if there are images that scare you, or if you feel if you use tarot decks that make you feel uncomfortable. So and you will find it. I mean, you will know it once you hold them in your hands. It's also about, you know, the thickness of the card and the size. This one is honestly a little bit too big for me, but I love the design so much, so that's fine. So usually I do 3-card readings. And in this case, this is the past, the present, and the future. Whereas the past doesn't have to necessarily be you know, something that has happened before. This is kind of like the base information. If I have a client who I have never met before, then this gives me lots of information about that person. This is like the basis or the backstory, or this is the core element of this problem, or whatever the person is facing. The first card will tell me more about the situation or about the characteristics of the person. And then I see the current situation. And then if that person continues like this, then this is what will happen. So the future card is not fixed. This is something that you can still change. And this is something that needs to be changed now. So if you don't like this outcome, then take the opportunity now to make a difference. And today, let's do a quick reading. So I have an idea that I would like to add to my readings, and I want to ask the tarot if I should go ahead and do it or not. And so I'm gonna do a 3-card reading to check that. Oh, sorry. I'm closing my eyes when I'm feeling into the cards, so sorry when my movements are weird. Okay, so in this case, I pulled 3 cards, and the first card for this question would be the current situation. And then there's one thing that I would like to add to my readings, and I want to ask the tarot how the outcome will be if I add this. So current situation, and then the change that I'm about to do, and then this is the outcome. So let's check together. Ah! Oh my god, I have the Sun for the current situation. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm about to cry. Knight of Cups. Oh my gosh. Follow your heart. Okay, I will do it. All right. Wow, I feel so much love from these cards. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody who is always supporting me. Ace of Swords. Wow, how amazing is this? It's a breakthrough idea. All right. This is amazing. I'm not gonna go into depth about this reading because I just wanted to quickly show you how I give readings, but I'm just taking in this love, and I feel so much gratitude towards the tarot and everybody who's watching. And I want to send everybody who's watching so much love. And if any one of you is interested in the tarot, please ask me anything. I've been doing readings for my clients for 7 years now, and there's so much that I learn from the cards every year. And also the clients, they have taught me so much about certain cards. And you know, if you are already in the journey of learning the tarot, then I'm sure that you will understand what I mean. It's like so eye-opening, and it really becomes your best friend. I mean, not that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have lots of friends that I talk to. It's not that I check everything with tarot. It's intuitively, you know, there are moments when I'm like, hey, you know, I wonder what the tarot would say. So I ask the tarot. It's never good to be addicted to something and to be too dependent on a certain divination. So you know, don't, it's not like I ask about everything to the tarot, but I wanted to show you that you can do daily readings. You can do daily readings with one card, but you can also use 3 cards to check, just like I did, if this is a good way to go or not. And obviously, so I have this change in my mind that I wanted to do on YouTube, and the cards are assuring me, yeah, go for it. And yeah, this is how I feel right now. My heart is overflowing with gratitude. And so, you know, there are so many people who tell me that they're afraid of the tarot because they have seen scary pictures of the death card. But I want to really show everybody that it's a fun thing to do, but at the same time, it's something to take seriously, because you know, this is the universe communicating to you via this tool. And so, and the funny thing is that, for example, if you ignore a message, or if you try to deny or resist a certain message, then the tarot will come back to you and be like, hey, I told you, man, just face it. And it's like, okay, you know, there's certain things that you cannot run away from, and it's a really fun thing to explore. And so I just started with my YouTube, and I'm sure that sometimes I'm being quite awkward and stuff. Sometimes I stop because I see things, I hear things, and I need to find the right words and stuff. So thank you for your patience. But I really hope that as we go along, that you will really enjoy my videos, and that I can be of help for you, either, you know, if you are studying the tarot or not. I hope that my weekly message, and also my monthly numerology, and also the new stuff that I will be adding, that you will enjoy it, and that it will help you in any way. Yeah, that would make me so happy. So I hope that I was able to share a little bit more about myself today, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to comment below, and I really appreciate each and every view and like that I get, because I just started out with all this, and it's still a mystery to me, but I'm enjoying this, and I hope that you do too. And don't forget that it's okay to not feel okay. It's not the goal for us to be happy all the time, because that's unrealistic. One of the core messages of the tarot is that there's always ups and downs in life. It's like the water. There's wild water and there's calm water. Sometimes negative things happen in our life and in the world, and sometimes good things happen in our lives and in the world, and that's just how things go. And it's about are you willing to accept this reality? And once you accept it, things get much more easier, because you can you change the attitude towards life and the universe. It's kind of like you understand that it's an interplay. And another important thing that the tarot told me is that we are not alone. It's not that source is kind of separate from us, but that source is within us, so we can access it anytime through meditation, through being intuitive, living in the moment, connecting with nature, or using divination tools such as the tarot and numerology to communicate with source. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you would like to have a personal reading, then please send me an email with your name, your birth date, and your question to the tarot. And don't forget that everything will be okay. Thank you. Bye bye.